Hello, everyone. Welcome to another podcast. Might be a video podcast, might be an audio podcast, depends what you're doing. Got a pretty cool guest. He's been on the podcast before, not in video, and in the worst audio of all time with the podcast, so it'd be nice to hear him in high definition. You might be watching this video early, advert. Not really an ad, so stick with me. You might be watching this video early because you've got exclusive access on patreon.com/the Downbeat, which costs just £1 or whatever that is in your currency, and then you get early access to stuff, and you might be able to watch this glorious video. Or you might be watching this later on YouTube, like ages later after the normal people, if they're like the good people, have seen it on Patreon. You might just be listening to this on all the normal platforms, or maybe you've even... Maybe you're just wearing a cool t-shirt from www.thedownbeat.at. Maybe you're just doing that. You're just hanging out doing that. I don't know. Who cares? That's my plugs. They're all to do with me. No one's given me any money to give you a proper advert. Usually I'll tell you what I've been up to, but I haven't really been up to anything. Just doing this. Just generally doing podcasty things. My guest this week on the Downbeat podcast is a Grammy winning, I was going to say nominated because he's been nominated a few times, but Grammy winner, granddad winner, Will Putney. He's a producer. He's the brains behind For An Autopsy, his awesome band. He's more brains in the band End. He's very fucking good at everything to do with music, and he's funny. No pressure to be funny, Will, but you are pretty funny. I've just finished up the new Stray from the Path album at his abode. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about his bands. We might bring back Goth Menu, which, if anyone remembers the podcast Off Menu, I've sort of stolen it and made it about music. So I checked that they can't really get me for an idea, can't be copyrighted. So we will be stealing that. Anyway, without further ado, if I can press all the buttons in the right order, it is Grammy Award-winning producer and guitarist Will Putney on the Downbeat podcast. If everything works, everyone should be able to hear you right now.
What's up, everyone? What's up, Craig?
It fucking
Hello,
worked.
the Downbeat.
Oh my fucking god! It's so much stress to set this shit up.
Isn't technical shit the worst? It's always one little thing. It ruins your day. It happens all the time.
When I was setting this up, it's so boring. But you must have to deal with this stuff every day. When I was setting this up, Pro Tools was saying it couldn't see my sound card, and it was saying some other bit of software was using my sound card. There was no other software open, and I had to just press buttons until it suddenly worked, and then go live to 4,772 people. Hello.
Well, here we are. Hello. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you. Saw you today, saw you earlier, saw you last week to prepare this, saw you... When, Christmas? Gave each other COVID?
Got COVID together. That was cool. Lots of fun. Thanks for bringing that over from the UK. Glad you could.
I actually think it was a little band called End going to play Tid the Season, which gave the tour COVID.
We wouldn't have got it. We wouldn't have given it to you the next day. So I think it was just in New York. I think it was just a coincidence. We all just got it. Yeah.
I feel like...
I'm just going to tell everyone you gave it to End. Because no one knows the sequence of events. Well, now I guess 4,800, however many people do. But whatever. You gave it to End. It's fine. We're cool with it. Just,
You know what the weird thing was? Is like, I did all the tests to get home. Got home. Tested when I got home. Was like, yeah, negative. And then... big big positive, and then every single friend that I have in the world pretty much got it on the same tour.
Yeah, we picked a bad week to roll through New York.
Imagine if that tour was a month long.
Yeah, that would have been rough. At least we were all in and out and got to get home before it got bad. So
yeah, super lucky. You're in that nice new studio, Will Putney's.
Ooh,
I heard a rumor. If anyone doesn't know, Will used to track at a little place in Belleville, New Jersey, formerly the Machine Shop, then Graphic Nature. Then he's since changed the operation to his house and a new drum room, which I didn't get to track in. I heard a rumor it was too loud and boomy.
It's very loud. We got construction in there now, not fixing, but quieting up the place. But yeah, we bought a log cabin, which is not an extremely well insulated building because it's literally logs. So from room to room, once we hit a drum, we were like, oh, right, there's nothing in the walls. So now we're currently putting it together. The drum room sounds great, so it's going to be great. It's just going to take a little work.
Oh, so what have you got? I thought it was just going to be for drums. Is there going to be rooms in there?
It's basically Belleville relocated. So all the guys that work at Graphic Nature are going to work out of there, and then we're going to share a drum room like we've been doing.
Oh, that's awesome. So the drum room sounds all right. Big.
The drum room's great. As soon as we walked, I almost cried when we hit a snare drum. I was so excited. And then I walked anywhere else in the house, and it sounded like I was in the drum room. So I was like, okay, we probably should fix this.
Fuck.
But like, as long as the room sounds good, that's how we always start. Where it's like, everything else is fixable, but you can't make a bad room good, So treatment, isolation, it'll be awesome soon.
I thought that with my drum room, I got a kit in there and I started just hitting it, and I was like, fuck, this sounds amazing. I was fully gonna treat it, and then I put some mics up and was like, this actually just sounds sick. So I'm just gonna fucking
that's the number one thing. Like, you've seen Belleville. You're aware that it isn't, I wouldn't say, the most luxurious building in the world, but hit a drum in there and it sounds good. So it was like, all right, we'll figure the rest of it out.
You know what's funny though? It kind of was though. The drum room by the end could have been a coffee shop. Do you know what I mean? It was around for so long that initially it looked like a janky old room of just bits and scaffolding or whatever, and you could see the beams in the ceiling and fucking dodgy light bulbs. And then the world became, that was what good coffee shops looked like. So actually the drum room in Belleville, if you just stuck a little bar in there, wouldn't look so bad.
Yeah, we were pioneering coffee culture there for years. We have been, so it only makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah. It could have actually, that's where it came from. How are you? How's your day going? What time is it?
It is 11 a.m. I've been up since 5 a.m. because my dog, who's very sweet, had a nightmare and
did he tell you what it was about?
All of his legs and then just kicked me and then proceeded to get up and step on my stomach while I was sleeping.
And that's a big dog.
Yeah, so I'm up, So I've had a nice morning, got some work done.
Let's set the scene with this dog. How big's this dog for the people that don't know?
Stampy is almost a 70-pound pit bull. He's very sweet. He's a cuddler.
Is he sweet though?
He's sweet at night, and in the morning, then there's like a block of 12 hours where he's out of his mind. He's special. When you rescue a dog, you get like a garbage dog, and they come with baggage. He's definitely a special. Isn't it? Boy.
Do you use that as like an excuse if something happens when you're walking him? Because I use it all the time, even with.
So yeah,
Pamela.
That's the thing. If you rescue a dog and they're bad or you're bad at training them, which is probably a combination of both with my dog, I always just get the pass where it's like, oh yeah, we saved him and he's just a little emotionally weird, and that's why he's barking at a light bulb and screaming at children, and it's a little cover.
Barking at a light bulb. I feel like that's not just a random thing that you said. He does that, doesn't he?
He doesn't like hanging lights and any of the glass or ceramic ones where they make like a ring, like a bell sound to him if you flick them. It's like a trigger for him. So it's like the Nam flashback happens, and I don't know what happened to this dog in his past life, but there's just a few things that are just normal as hell that are just the end of the world for him. But
I got
we're working through it.
I got our little Chihuahua, obviously slightly less psychotic I mean, not even slightly less psychotic, slightly less like dangerous, could be dangerously psychotic, but she wouldn't eat food for the longest time. Like, we were just like, what is going on? We tried all the different types of food or whatever. She just wouldn't eat it. She would eat treats or whatever, so we just had to just give her treats. Then one day, we put her food in a bowl on a carpet instead of on just the normal kitchen floor. And she took the food out of the bowl onto the carpet and ate it there. And that's the only way she'll eat. So it ruins the fucking carpet, but what goes on in a rescue dog's life for them to have to eat food off a carpeted floor?
I don't know. I mean, wow, it could be worse, That's what I always say. It's like, oh, a little stain on the carpet. Could be
baby killer.
Yeah, it could be mauling children, running the streets. So I'd like to think we lucked out with them.
Depends what kids.
It does depend what kids.
None of this is about music. Let's talk about music, Will.
Sure.
Famously.
Let's talk about music.
Famously, you are... we got loads to talk about. Famously, Will Putney is Grammy Award-winning producer. Now, every time I say that, Will sort of freezes up a little bit because I say it every time, even in just like a, hi, Will, how's the Grammy?
Yeah, now it's just a goof. But it's like winning a Grammy is obviously cool, but I don't care that much. I guess I'm not.
Once you
probably
get it,
supposed
you don't
to
care.
pretend. Yeah, I'm supposed to. I think it's cool to say that, but I didn't even know I won until people texted me. Like, I'd kind of forgotten about it because when you lose 3 times, which I have, I'm like, that's never happening. So I was just over it and off it, and then we actually won, which is cool. And I didn't even think I thought Power Trip was going to win the Grammy, like in 2020, which is when it happened, because they were nominated. Riley had just passed, and all signs had just pointed to like they should have won, So it was. I was kind of shocked when we got it with Body Count, especially knowing like Body Count would have wanted Power Trip to win that year. Like everybody was friends. We did a song together on that record, and. Yeah, it was just surprising. So it was like bittersweet. That's why whenever I think about it, I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but could have waited a year, But I'm obviously the recognition's cool. It's cool because now my mom knows like that it counts. Like it's better for people. When you tell, oh, I play in a band, it's like heavy music, and they're like, oh, it's like Metallica. It's like it's that thing. Yeah. Now my family can take me more seriously.
So my one of those was Reading Festival, because obviously I'm from Reading. So anyone that you would speak to in Reading or family members or anything, like, oh, you're in a band, are you? Yeah, playing the festival. And then the time that I first played the festival, I went, yes, I am actually. And then it was like, whoa, wait, so you're a proper band, so you're rich? Yes, that's how it works. Yeah. It goes from not playing the festival to being first on. And that's when they give you £1 million to be first on.
That's not how it works? That didn't work like that for Stray?
It's working like that now. We got £1 million to record with you. No, we didn't.
Thanks.
If anyone doesn't know what the Grammys are, it's the Oscars for your ears.
Is that the slogan?
I mean, it should be. I just come up with that then. Oscars, Grammys, the Oscars for your ears.
I wonder if your career will take you to the point where you can host like a proper award show one day. Like you'll be 50, have the most successful music podcast, and they're just like out of ideas, and they're like, what about the weird guy from the UK? And you wind up on, NBC, and my mom sees you as like a old man.
Listen, there was so many slight offensive things you said in there, but the main sentence was that you think I could do that, so it was nice. Yeah. But then there was a lot of stuff in there, like weird guy from the UK. I'll tell you this: you've got one of these as well, right?
I do.
Right. So I can't remember. They messaged me about something. Can't remember what it was. Oh, like because it was the best podcast award. It was the first time I'd done it last year, and then they posted something like, "Can he do it again?" It's like, I don't want to do it again. I want you to give me some money, and I'll talk throughout the whole thing. I'll do the hosting. Host me up, baby.
What are you gonna become a host? Is that the goal here? This is a Craig interview now. Like, where's the podcast at? Where do you see yourself in 5 years, Craig?
Well, I'll tell you this, Will. There is 7,025 people watching this on Twitch. I don't know what. Hello, everyone. Love you. I think I deserve it. Really, don't I? I've sorted this out. Just put it on another platform. I just like doing it. I hate setting up drums. I love playing the drums. I've employed Gabe to drum tech from now on.
Oh, nice.
Because I just can't be bothered to do the setting up, and it fucks my back up, as you know. So if I could get paid to talk and then get paid to play the drums, but not get paid to do, or just not do any of the stuff that precedes those things, then that would be great for me. Well, I would love it.
Yeah, it's just like you don't want to do anything, but you just want all the money.
I want to do the main thing, but I don't want to do the bits before it. So right now, what I've got going on, I told you about this before, I've got Pro Tools running the multi-track from What's Happening. I've got you on this screen, Zoom. I've got the other screen with the stream happening. Everything's being recorded so that when this finishes, I just have to go onto a website and upload it, and I don't have to edit anything or do anything, because that bit, I'd rather just live in a hut than do any kind of... I don't know what it is. I just don't have the bit of my brain that's like, oh, let me just fucking edit this and da. I'm just... Essentially, just give me the glory.
So what we do.
Exactly that.
I understand. So, okay. Fair enough. Well, we have different... Maybe... Okay, so if I become the biggest producer in the world, undeniably, where it's like, oh, he's the king, you come do the edit stuff for me and Steve. And then if you become the biggest podcast host in the world, we come and do all the edit stuff for you.
How about we just get Steve to do all of this?
All right, fine. Shout out to Steve. He's probably listening.
Shout out to Steve's side, because basically I need a Steve, and I kind of have a Steve. I have a guy called Simon who's in the chat right now who does my YouTube minion work, and I just want someone to do all that. Gabe's going to do the drum tech in. Simon will handle the internet. Just let me do what I do best, which is fucking host and not play the drums. But while you just said if I become the best producer in the world, that leads me on to my one of my two questions that I have prepared.
Okay, let's go. Give them to me.
So you are, in my opinion, and in a lot of people in the heavy music industry's opinion, the best producer in the world.
That's very flattering. Thank you.
I personally love, and we'll get onto this when we talk about fit, but I think me and you have such a similar musical taste that you just do the things that I would want the band to do. So when you know, when you listen, I'm listening to a bit of music, and in my head I like preempt, imagine if they did this next. Like example, and you actually do love doing this. Like, imagine if they flip up a little, like a quarter note polyrhythm for one bar, and then come back down or something. And then if you've produced the band, I'll think it'd be sick if this happened, and then it happens, and I know it's you. Even if it's whatever band, I'm like, Will did that bit. Prime example.
We do like a lot of the same stuff. So and I try to be impartial with just what I like when I'm working with a band, but you know, you fall back on your habits and tricks, and I'm always going to go towards the things that I think are cool, and they just happen to align with yours. So that's why we work together.
Which is fucking awesome. The one of the ones that was like, I liked the band already, and then they started working with you, and the album was perfect to me, was Harm's Way, because I already loved them, and then you did that Harm's Way record, Posthuman.
Posthuman.
Was that the first one you did with them?
Yep, first one.
And it was what they needed, or what I wanted from them, and it was like, I just know it was you.
Yeah, you could tell where our streams cross, especially with the industrial stuff in that one that was probably like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's my guy right there. So
Yeah.
you've done, a lot of bands. Is there any? Here's my one question out of the two that I have prepared because I'm a professional host.
Okay.
Is there any? What's your like? I don't even know the word. What is the word? But like, I want to say dream, like, put dream band to produce. But there's a word to say that, isn't there? It doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Professional.
Pinnacle band.
No, there's a way better way of saying, like, the one that you aspire to do. It doesn't matter. I'm fucking brain dead.
I mean, I get what you're saying. Sure.
No,
Yeah.
but there must be a word. Twitch chat, hit me up. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. Have you got?
Yeah.
Who's the number one?
Number one. That's tough.
Give me three. Then they don't have to be in order.
See, it's weird because my favorite bands aren't necessarily the bands I'd want to produce.
That's not what I want, though.
Yeah.
Why?
so I have to
Hang on. Explain
eliminate-
why. Explain why, and then don't tell me them.
Well, I think I like a band like Nine Inch Nails, for example, is one of my favorite bands. But I don't want to produce it because I like somebody else's brain. It's like I want to be a fan, and I don't want to be on the inside of certain bands. The number one band. This is actually very easy because it's something that I understand very well and something that I think I could be of service to is Metallica. Has to be Metallica.
I will do unspeakable things for that to happen.
Because it would be just like unlimited resources. We'd be able to spend as much time as we want. I mean, you saw the documentary. They spent years making records. Like, I've never been in a position where I have more than 6 or 7 weeks to do an album, And it's like, imagine what we could do if I had this kind of time.
With 600 days.
Yeah, with just all of the everything at your disposal. It would be the final level, like, fulfilling thing to be like, okay, what am I actually capable of? And it's a band that I grew up loving that obviously, like, over the years has sort of had a mild identity crisis and, like, now is sort of older and set in their ways. And it's like, oh, I'm a little younger. You could be my dad. So I have a different perspective on metal and heavy music. And I think I could be useful and it would be awesome. So that's the one. That has to be the one.
I don't know why that, like, just hasn't happened. Like,
I mean, it's our world is very compartmentalized, like metal and hardcore and like the scenes we live in. Then there's like a breakout section of it where bands grow from this and turn into that, but we don't exist in the same circles really, on a business side too. Like, it doesn't, like, I'm just not on their radar. And how could I be? Like, why would I be?
No, I just mean, I mean, not even you. I mean, just the concept of just in every walk of life, but let's take it for this example. You're fucking old. You're still doing the shit that you're doing. You were sick. You're not as sick. Just get someone younger to give you a hand because they know what they're fucking doing.
I think it's like there's certain bands that are open to it and then some that there's like an ego thing or they're so set in their ways that it's scary to do something different. Like, I've had meetings with bands that are where I was like, oh, this would be awesome. I could bring so much to the table. And then leaving the meeting going, that's not going to work. Like, they don't care about what I think could be cool for a heavy record in 2022 or this kind of band, And it's been pretty eye-opening to see, like, some bands just want to do exactly what they do, then actually don't care, like, what a producer thinks or what their label thinks. That's like, they've been a band for life. They do this thing. That's their release. So you don't get involved. You can't get involved, So the doors just close sometimes before you even have an opportunity, which is, like, understandable because it does produce a lot of great bands. But then, you have stuff that's, like, slugging along where you could see the potential and it's frustrating. But you got to find the ones that are open to it.
Is there an example you can think of? Because I can't think of an example in music, but then again, I don't really know about production that much. Is there an example of a band that were falling off and that you can think of that were falling off and then they got a producer?
I mean, it's the one that I know because I worked with them, and I wouldn't say they were falling off. It was just the band they just kind of put it down. They had a hiatus forever. It is Body Count, you know, like Body Count was a band from before I was like even into heavy music. This is like one of the pioneering rap metal bands, maybe one of the first ones ever to do it, you know. And then they just hadn't played for like a decade, you know. At some point they lost some members, and they wanted to pick it up again, but they admittedly needed, like, they were self-aware enough to know, like, we probably, if we're re-entering this world, we've been sort of out of touch with it, we should probably work with someone who's kind of living in it a little more. So that was, I mean, that's the real experience that that's the one, like, shining experience I've had with, like, a more veteran band. And, like, it's working good, you know?
How did that end up? Did they win a Grammy? Did they get an ear Oscar?
Oh, I hate it when you do this. They got an ear Oscar.
They got an ear. Well, guess what? Now I'm not going to say Grammy ever again, Will, but now you're going to hear ear Oscar often.
All right.
Okay. Metallica, anyone else? Metallica's the number fucking one. Oh, man, imagine how fucking good it would be.
It would be cool. There's other bands that, like, just bands that I'm a big fan of, Mastodon, Deftones, stuff like that, where they've had, I feel like, peaks and valleys and records over their careers where it's like just stuff I really understand as a fan, like where I feel like I am the fan for you, like I'm your fan base, I know all your records, I love your stuff, even the stuff that people don't really listen to I still understand. So it's like bands like that would be really, really fun and rewarding because and they're great bands. Like there's not, at the core of it, it's not like anything sucks. It's just taking something that's great and making it even better, you know? So it's like those kind of opportunities are super fun and fulfilling because you don't feel pressure in the sense where it's like, God, this record's bad and now I have to make it good or everyone's going to think I'm bad. Like you walk into a room with a bunch of brilliant musicians right off the bat. That style of workflow is really, really fun.
Do you think, have you ever had it when, like, you work with a band who you've wanted to work with or whatever, or you think, they could do with you don't have to name the band, or they could do with a bit of production or whatever, and then you just butt heads with whoever was calling the shots beforehand?
Generally, I've never had a really bad experience in the studio where it's like, this band is awesome, this is going to be great, and then by the end, you know, aside from maybe like 1 or 2 records in my whole life, we never really butt heads like past the point of just like mild creative differences, you know. But I have had conversations with plenty of bands where before I even got involved, I was like, I'm just not your guy because what I like, either my vision or the way I work or what I want to do doesn't just align with how they see their band or what they're willing to let go or who they're willing to let in to work on songs, you know. I've talked to one of my favorite bands last year or maybe 2 years ago and then discovered that like 3 guys in the band want to co-produce the record and they want to be there for the whole mix and touch everything, and like they'll listen to me but they're still gonna have 3 other opinions that then they'll discuss. And it was just this complicated thing where I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna hate it by the end. Even though I love the band, I'd rather just hear the record when it's done and be like a fan of the band.
Got it. So look at this amazing segue here. So in Fit, look at that. Look how he's done that. That's my new thing, is drawing attention to what seems like a seamless interlude and making it actually not seamless.
It's not seamless if you describe it.
I know, that's my new thing though. I don't know why I started doing it. I started doing it on the live podcast. I was like, hey, everyone, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm doing here. I don't know why, and now it's stuck. But
all right.
Do you do everything in your band Fit For An Autopsy, whose new album, Oh What the Future Holds, is out now?
No, I don't do everything. I write a lot of the material, but I keep my guys involved through that process. And then, you know, I jam with my drummer and work on stuff with my singer. Like the whole, obviously I'm heavy-handed on the guitar stuff because I'm writing a lot of it and I'm playing it while I'm writing and recording bits. Like it's sort of, the workflow works good like that, but it's still a band, you know, like everybody has opinions and everybody has good taste in music in my band where I feel like, you know, I don't feel a need to really strong arm everything. We like hear any idea out. It's always the best idea wins, you know, for my own bands or records I'm producing. Like, I just want the coolest idea. So whoever has it, we pursue that, you know?
So if it's got like, so there's a let's talk about just the. I'm trying to get into the mind here. So demos, you start a demo front to back, give it to everyone, and they go, "What if we did this?" Or are you all writing it together?
Yeah, it's more like I put something together, show it to everybody, see if anybody wants to mess with a part, is concerned about a part. You know, I just like the feedback from my guys, because I think generally if they're all feeling a certain way about something, it's probably an indicator like, all right, maybe we shouldn't use this, or maybe I should rewrite this. You know, we've had, you know, there's definitely been songs too where I've written some lyrics and then or I've written a certain melody and showed it to them, and everyone's like, I don't know about this, and then I've wound up rewriting it and it's been better. So anytime I get that kind of feedback and I could see another perspective, I could usually improve what I have, you know. Part of the reason why I kind of wish somebody would just produce me. I don't want to put
I was just going to say, it's like they're producing you.
Yeah, I would. I flirted with the idea before, and there are like a couple guys that I reached out to that I couldn't get together for this one, but it would be just like fun for once to be like, someone else tell me if it's good. Like, you get stuck in your own head when you're writing, and I'm like constantly searching for somebody where I feel like, oh, I'm on a page with them, I could trust them to actually help make this stuff better. I feel like I would just punish somebody because
who would it be?
I don't know. That's the thing. It's hard for me to like, there's pros and cons for all these other guys, you know. I never really landed on like the one where it's like, okay, this is the guy. He take all my music and do it. And then the guys that I really look up to from production standpoints or creative standpoints are just out of this world, where they just probably wouldn't even want to do it. So it's tricky. Who
watches the Watchmen? Who produces the produceman?
I know. Maybe next time. I'm going to try something next time. We're going to do something. I want to do something different.
Well, like a little co-producer in there?
Yeah, I just want to find somebody to fucking help a little. I mean, I would love to click with somebody where I could be produced. I've never done it. It's never happened. No one's ever produced me. You're all spoiled. You get all the trinkets, all the little tricks.
Yeah, but you chose that. You chose that bed.
I know. I'm not complaining. It's going good, but it seems like it would be fun. That's all.
I put you and Josh. If you think something is right, there's like, you can push against you. You can push that. I don't think this is right, Will, and you will be pretty resilient to one point. And like, no, this is right, Craig. Shut the fuck up. This is what we should do. This is what you should do. And then it reaches like it's almost like you've got a power bar, the Will Putney power bar, where I'm like, I don't think we should be doing this, and you're like, nah, we definitely should. I don't think we should be. And you go, fuck it, okay, whatever you want to do. And it's your resistance level is perfect, because now I've done 3 albums with you and an EP which will never get fucking released. I know. If I get to like half of the Will Putney power bar, I'm like, oh, he's actually right. And in my brain, I can go, I could push him and get this where I want it to go. But I know he's probably right, so I'll leave it. Josh Middleton, whenever I've worked with him, the power bar never moves, which is like, I guess maybe why, I don't know. I mean, Josh is too busy to produce or whatever, but the power bar rarely moves with Josh.
Yeah, with me, I pick my battles. Like, if you want the rack 2 instead of splash 3 on the fill, and I think it sounds stupid, I'll say it sounds stupid. But then 20 minutes into the conversation, I probably don't care anymore, because I'm like, I'll let them have this one, so when I actually care about something, the power bar doesn't move.
Oh,
half of this
clever.
Is psychological. It's all psychological, because then I could throw that back at you. Like, dude, I've been doing everything you wanted all day. I'm just trying to get this thing. It's all. I definitely have learned to pick my battles, especially with people who have strong opinions on music. It just helps you like kind of muscle up for the things you really want.
That's clever. I was unfair to Josh then. That was I was thinking about the time what I recorded his solo album, and obviously that's his solo album, so it's what he had in his head. So apologies there to Josh. Okay. The new album. Look at that. Again, break character. Tell everyone where you're going with it.
You need like when you get the dual camera so you can do the character break. Pan.
Ooh, that's
camera.
clever.
Yeah. I'm producing your show, dude. Come on.
Please do. Please. We'll get Steve in here. Right, so I might be wrong here. Who's doing the clean singing?
Joe's doing the clean singing.
How long have you been doing that for?
I don't know. 5 years? 6 years? We started that a bit on the last record.
Yeah, but this one's got like a song and everything.
Yeah, we did more, I think, on a song or two this time. We just like it. He's good at it now.
He's fucking great at it. I was like, is this another person? But I didn't have like any notes, so I didn't really know.
Yeah. So we did, on the last record, there was an outro song where there was a bunch of clean singing and it was written for somebody else. We were going to have a guest vocalist. And then we decided, let's do a record with no guest. Like, Joe's like, I think I could do it. And I was like, okay, sure, a guy who just screams all the time. Yeah, I'm sure I could do it too. Yeah, I'll see you there. And then he did it, and I was like, oh, this is actually cool. And now I'd just rather be our singer than random guest vocal guy, you know? So it's sort of us kind of working on us, like, trying to write a part for, like, out of the box for us, for somebody else that we really liked, turned into, like, us discovering we could do some of that stuff on the last one. So now on What the Future Holds, I was like, going into it, I was like, let's just do a song or two like that, because I think we have confidence that we can pull it off a little better now. But yeah, he definitely did his homework and practiced, and it was cool to put those together.
My personal favorite. Have you got? Let's do you first. What's your personal favorite from the record?
Personal favorite. I like Two Towers. That's mine. I think because it's like
the one, baby.
The journey of the song, and I like it because it was definitely out of the box for me as far as like writing, trying to tell a story in a song. I never really write like that. Everything's like pretty literal with fit, or it's got its own little poetic meaning. But this was like actually a story time kind of thing to make a point. I never wrote a song like that for fit, so it was like harder and it's long and there's like hard stuff in it, you know, like it was just difficult to make. The whole time it felt like this mountain, but then when it was done I was like, wow, we did something cool. This is awesome. So that one's probably my favorite. What's
the story? I don't listen to fucking lyrics. Well, yeah, I listen to the drums. No, it does matter to everyone that isn't me.
All right.
There's 10,619 people watching this right now, right? And I bet you almost all of them aren't drummers. So
a lot of the concept on the record is like this inevitable conclusion that the world's heading to. And I wanted to write a song about maybe just accepting the things that you can't change. And it's like hard to write a song like that. So I was like, what if I built a story around it where it's like, what if your past self and your future self could meet each other? And what would you say to you in the future? Would you like warn him of something? Would you try to correct something that he did or maybe other people did? And it's like this little journey of these two people locked in two towers that get out, they try to meet, and they're prevented from doing it by whatever in the weirdo story. And it all just kind of comes to a head, and the conclusion is that you just have to accept things that you can't change.
What a fucking smart guy. How the fuck you get the time to do all this? At what point in the day?
A pandemic is how I had time to do this. If I had 3 weeks, I don't know. Maybe story time wouldn't have happened. But we had a lot of time this time. It was nice. Everybody's tour, you know how this went for everyone, you know? So I had a bunch of UK bands actually that were supposed to come here and make records, and they couldn't, just as you couldn't.
Who?
I don't know what I could say. You being one, and then a band that we both know and like very much is another one.
Right.
And I wound up just mixing that. So I had like some downtime. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna book anything. I'm just gonna mix stuff, and I'm gonna write my own stuff. So I spent more time writing than I ever had, and it was awesome. I'm I feel like we were spoiled on this, where I'm gonna have to carve that kind of time out in the future, but it was worth it, I think.
How have you done it previously? Because whenever I'm around you, you are constantly working. Like the person that works the most out of anyone that I know.
Yeah, I was like only in pockets. Like I would write when I was waiting for recalls for some other project. Like there's never like dead downtime here. Even when I'm like, oh, I was off, we were still mixing records every day, you know. But it was like I decided this time I would just literally make it this month. I'm going to work on Fit, you know. And that was something that I had never really done, ever. It was always like I would be squeezing songs in between projects and writing. And then when it was ready, we would book time to record. But my writing process was always just chaos, you know. I had a laptop in a hotel room for the previous record because I was traveling to do a record. And I would just go home at night and write after recording all day. So I never like had the clear head time. It was always like squeeze it in, you know.
And like if you've got like... So, do you block everything out? So let's say, we did, however long we did with you. How long did we do? 2 weeks? Something like that? Stray loves to fucking...
couple weeks.
We'll do this album in fucking 10 days.
You're the band that I spend the least amount of time recording. And that is not my choice, just so everyone knows.
Was that just because we're so good?
No, it's Tom Williams having no concept of how time and space are connected, and as the hours go by, you can't complete certain tasks. Yeah, he's like, oh, we're gonna wake up at 8. By 8:10, we'll get the guitar sound.
No, we'll get bagels.
Track from 8:20 to 10:40, and I think guitars will be done for the whole record. Then we'll go get sushi, and we'll come back, and we'll probably get through like 4 songs on vocals. So we'll just need like 5 days, and we probably do the whole record. And it's like, okay. And then he sleeps till 11. And it's like, okay. So we've been down to the wire before, but we had 2 sessions this time. One without you also. So it was better this time. We got
because I wasn't there
on our Stray record. No, we were remote. We were trying.
Yeah, we did good. I think we did good. But so, do you have that blocked out? And then, because I swear that you started something the same day we left.
Yeah, it was pretty much on top. Sometimes it's like that.
Is that constant?
I try to leave some time. I was squeezing stuff in because the past 2 years have been crazy with shifting schedules and stuff. Everyone's like rescheduled record plans fall on me to solve sometimes. So it's like that was a rescheduled session that I got in, and then literally the day you were leaving, another band was showing up. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it happens like that.
What's your ideal amount of time? None of this is written down, by the way. This is just stuff I want to know. What's your ideal amount of time to make an album? Plan out an album for me.
I like 4 or 5 weeks. 6 if I can get it for the right band. Depends what we're doing. You know, depends like if I've worked with the band before, what state the songs are in. It always varies, but no less than 4 weeks usually has been the motto, and that's worked pretty good.
You ever just come straight in and there's no demos and you have to write everything?
Yeah, it's happened. I wouldn't, not everything, but I've definitely walked into a room and then realized that a band wasn't prepared enough and had to deal with that. It's been better. Like earlier on, you take what you can get. I'm trying to make a name for myself, and I just need to stay working. So I was, pulling some pretty wild hours with some pretty bad bands at the time. But I feel like now I'm a little spoiled where everyone kind of has their shit together.
I will raise you that, though, when me and Tom are writing and we can't figure out how to get 2 sections to go together, it will go like this. Okay. Should we try this? Nah, it didn't work. Should we try this? Nah, that didn't work. We'll all do it. and it's fucking... I mean, we do... It's not that we rely on you, but it's just so good to have you as like an extra member of Stray from the Path when our brains are just maxed out and we're like, I got no fucking idea what to do. I remember the prime example being the song Only Death Is Real. We had... the beginning of it, and we didn't know what the fuck. I think we had the beginning and maybe the chorus, and we didn't have, and we were like, what the fuck are we gonna do? And we didn't have anything, and then we brought it to you, and then you were like, what about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely my favorite part of the job, you know, like having a good idea and being like, all right, make it work now, you know, or solve the little puzzle in it. It's the fun part about making music to me. It sounds like it's not as fun for other people, but it's the part I like, you know. I like that challenge because that activates whatever part of my brain that keeps music interesting to me. Where like the recording side of it is the redundant side, you know, like tracking is punishing now, but like writing and creating music and like that side of it is the exciting part.
Do you ever get like burnt out with music and have to be on your game?
It's happened, sure. When we get overloaded with work, there's this like thing that keeps happening where people will say, hey, you want to mix my record? Yeah, cool. Okay. It's due January 1st. Cool. Yeah. When do I get the files? November 1st. Okay, cool. The files show up December 15th. Oh, it's still due January 1st though. Sorry about that. So I've been like, that stuff, when that happens with multiple projects and then my schedule's all over the place and I have 5 things to do at once, like that burns you out because you try to stay organized and now you're like, there's pressure involved with making music that never feels right. Like it's never the best place to do anything music related to me. I don't like working under pressure when it comes to any form of this job. You know, some people do well under pressure. Like Brendan from Counterparts doesn't write a single lyric until it's the last possible minute. And then that pressure like motivates him to get cool stuff done, you know? And, it's so frustrating to me and stressful, but it like the end product is good and that's the process now, but I don't work like that. Like I try to keep it organized and get things done. So when it's all at once, it's really, that's when I'm like, I'm pretty over this now.
I can't even imagine. Like I've got one band that I do and my burnout level is insane. Like the amount that I hit burnout and I don't even fucking do anything. And you're out there like, got a band producing fucking... I've got 2 bands producing... You should have 3 bands, but you haven't mixed the thing that we did.
We'll have 3 soon.
I got to speak to you about that. I spoke to someone today about something. This is for later. What is the track after... I keep wanting to say the Twin Towers, right? Now, that's a different thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say... No, we didn't write that song. The Twin Towers extreme music song has been taken by Sworn Enemy. It's a fantastic song. If you don't know who Sworn Enemy is, go look up the 9/11 Sworn Enemy song. I will never touch a 9/11 related musical piece after that.
So you just did Lord of the Rings instead, the 2 Towers.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I forgot that was a thing until it was done. And then it was too late. I was like, damn it, someone's gonna say that. And yep, everyone's this about Lord of the Rings. Like, yeah, I wrote a song about Lord of the Rings. Yeah, there's an elf and he walks around and there's a spooky guy. And then I got this animated video done and then I looked at it. I'm like, this is fucking Lord of the Rings. God damn it.
Do you know, Joy, do you know what my best catch of all time was? And I'm not gonna say what any of it is because I wasn't even there, but there was a lyric from on the new Stray album. We can't talk about the name or anything or the song or anything. The lyric was from an accidentally, because none of you guys even knew the song, was accidentally from WAP. There was a lyric from fucking WAP in the song, and I was like listening back, and I was like, guys, we can't do that because of this song. And everyone was like, what do you mean because of this song? And then I played the lyric, and I was like, oh, good catch. Like, yep. That's the beauty of being able to send stuff back and forth, even though you're not here.
Yeah, it happens from time to time, but I try not to copy anybody.
Oh, I'm not saying you copied it on purpose. It's just it was a normal sentence, but because that song was the biggest song in the world right then, like the 2 Towers, doesn't have to be about fucking whatever, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, of all the songs too, because that song, there's like one line in that song. So it's like any other. The fact that you knew another lyric from that song besides that hook, I was like, that's impressive because thing was.
I bought that song quite a bit.
Yeah.
And
well,
then
I'm glad you caught it because that would have been a weird.
That would have been the worst. It would have been absolutely terrible. And we're known for putting stuff from movies, popular culture. You know, there's a fucking lyric from a meme on this next record. Like,
sure. We would have Adam Sandler run for a while.
Everyone would have just thought we'd done it on purpose, and it's like, and that would have been cringe. So we got like
that would have been. That would have
been. So
rough.
when in The Two Towers, when Joe goes, "One ring to rule them all," that's not about that. Anyway, what I was going with this, the song after it, something about hate, professional,
higher level of hate.
That's the best fit for an Autopsy song.
I figured you would like that because there's polyrhythms and drum stuff, and it starts with drum. Yeah, that's a Craig song.
Do you know what it is?
I'm glad you like it though.
I love it. Do you know what it is? It's actually the riff. I don't know what's happening. What's happening with the riff?
There's a couple. It's a weird bendy trick where you hit the note. The note that it starts on is not the fret that's being hit. It's bent like way out, and it's hard to nail, but it's like it moves in a weird way because I'm not actually moving. I'm not playing frets. I'm just bending notes up and down to other notes.
I've never
heard
a
very basic way to describe it, but
I've never heard anyone do that except I guess Bleed. But it's not the same pattern or whatever. Bleed has a bit where it goes and it goes up, but he doesn't do anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's the only other, like, not trying to say it sounds like Bleed, but I've only heard that happen twice in metal. Maybe I don't listen to enough metal. But the riff, I know it's a polyrhythmy song that I like. The riff, I was like, this is fucking insane.
Yeah, I did it by accident. I was like, oh, that was cool. How do I make that apart? And then figured it out.
What, were you just jamming and then you did it?
Yeah, I was just literally just accidentally hit a note too hard and bent it too hard because I'm not very good at guitar. And then like it came down a certain way where I was like, oh, that was cool. And then I just found a way to play it where I'd like cover 8 frets with 2 bends. Yeah.
A higher level of hate. Anyone who's listening, that's what it's called, right? Check that song out in particular.
Yeah.
I would. The Two Towers is probably the best song, but I don't care about songs. I care about cool things. I think shiny things.
A higher level of hate is more squattable. So it's
on the gym. It's on the gym playlist. It was deadlifted to yesterday. You are absolutely correct, my friend.
There you go. Good. Glad I could help.
Have you ever? Because if people don't know this. Have you ever do you play shows with Fit ever?
I haven't in a while. I mean, I used to. We did all the earlier touring stuff I did, but Fit started when I started producing records, basically the same time. Like the first demo was like one of the first things I ever recorded, you know? So like as Fit grew, so did my producer career. And then it hit this fork in the road where it was like, I actually can't do both things. Like, couldn't tour full time and make records full time, and it's like you can. So I was like, "What do we do? Like, do I quit? Do you want to go replace me? Do you like?" At that point, I was like, I found the calling where it was like making records is what I'm gonna do till I can't hear anymore, you know, or I'm over it, you know, One of the two, whichever comes first. But I realized like early enough to be like, all right, a lot of tour opportunities are coming up. I don't want to hold the band back. I know it's going to be an issue. Like, I know it's going to affect my life after the band. And it was like, at the time, we didn't think the band was going to be a full-time career band. So I was like, we started this thing for fun. We're doing some tours, but now we're doing cooler ones. And now there's like international stuff. And I was like, I never thought we would do that. And I'm not really a like live on the road kind of guy. So I was like, what, I talked to them and they were like, well, just stay involved. Because we started the band together, and then we'll just get a fill-in, you know? So I was playing some shows, then there was like fill-in guys we were going through. I was doing what I could and then subbing myself out. And then it got to this point where it was like, what if we just added a guitar player who's really good, who can just be a third guy? The band could always tour as a 5-piece. We don't have to look for fill-ins, anything like that. And we found Tim, and from like one show with him, it was like, oh, good. I'm never going to play a show again. Like, he's great, you know, and it made my, it took all that stress off of like, how do I balance these two things? Because Tim's a road dog, dude, like loves being on tour, and I'm the guy that loves being in the studio. So we just solved the problem with another person. And since then, really since Tim's been in the band, I haven't really played any shows with them.
So does that mean when you're writing, you can be like, oh, that was hard. It's staying. Do you know what I mean? Do you?
Me and Tim always joke because he'll be like, dude, this part, like, come on, man, this sucks. Like, you play it. And then I'll play it. And I'm like, I can barely play it. And he's like, yeah, see? I'm like, yeah, but it's not my job to be sick at it.
That's what you're like with me. That's what you're like with me when there's Stray demos. And I'm like, come on. And it's the fucking Dillinger Blast all over shit. And I'm like, come on. And you're like, oh, if you can do it once, then it stays. And then I do it once.
No, well, I try to write stuff. Tim is much better than me. So, like, if it's hard for me, it's like medium for him. You know how people have like Thai spice levels? Like, I tap out first. So if I don't write stuff that's impossible, it's just like not the style of our band. It's never. I'm just everything we do on the record, aside from like the little bells and whistles, ambient layer thing.
Yeah.
You know, like the core of the band is designed to be able to be executable, good live. So that, like, we never really cross that line where it's like, oh, now it's impossible music. There's just like little challenging bits, and that's what you got to practice, you know?
Okay. I like this. What about, so the band that you do play, hang on, well, before I absolutely forget, so where can people not see you play for Fit for an Autopsy? Because
people can not see me on tour now until February 12th in the U.S., and then apparently it looks like Europe's looking good for May. So we'll be in Europe and the UK in May. And then waiting to announce all the other territories once things start opening up. But we have plans for Mexico, South America, Asia, Canada, Australia. So for all the international Downbeat podcast listeners out there, we'll be near you soon.
There's a lot, man. Don't fucking make fun of me. There's a lot. Okay, so the other band where you are known to stand away from your computer and play the guitar.
Yeah, I play stand-up guitar in End.
He plays
sit down guitar in Fit. Yeah.
You play stand-up guitar like a cello.
Yeah, it's upright. Took the frets off. We're having fun. We're being creative. Yeah.
What? Where? Like, how did that even start? Because is that just some darkness that lives in you? So Will plays in another band called End, with Brendan Murphy from Counterparts. What's Greg from?
Greg's from Misery Signals, The Risk Taking, bunch of stuff. Shia everyone was in Shia but Greg was in Shia.
Shia doesn't count. What's Stampy from? Shia. No offense to Shia, but everyone's been in you. And then you got Billy Reimer, Dillinger. So it's kind of a supergroup. How did it start? Why did it start? Go.
It started because 10% darkness inside me, friendship, because these are all my dudes.
Darkness and friendship don't go.
Friendship's important. Yes, it does.
No,
all
it
my
started
friends are
with
dark.
Be honest. It started with darkness.
If you were super happy all the time, do you think I'd be like, dude, I love talking to Craig? No, it would be so punishing and terrible.
You're right, actually.
Yeah. So everyone in that is someone I had like known or worked with previously, where I knew they liked this style of music but weren't doing it in a band. You know, like me and Brendan had always talked about these kind of bands and all the stuff from Canada that he grew up listening to, and all that kind of power violence and grind stuff that like we weren't really doing, you know, but everybody just liked it. So I was like, I wanted to do a band like that because I saw Fit going into more of like a proper metal band, and all that more extreme, crazy stuff that lives in that world that I was forcing into Fit. I was starting to realize like these aren't making the songs better. I'm just trying to like satisfy myself that I'm writing crappier songs. So it's like, what if I just focused and had another project where I could just get all this out of my system. And yeah, I just hit up all these guys and was like, I want to do this thing. If yeah, I know you don't know all the dudes I'm talking about, like maybe joining or playing, but like you know of them and their projects, but like if I could put this together, would you do it? And everybody said yes. So like the first day that everybody met was at the studio to start writing and recording a record. So it was this weird like form a band from people I just knew, like, oh, this is gonna work. Like this guy's got this thing going on, he's got this skill set, like everybody, like, and everyone's just like cool, and I knew we'd get along, you know. And we wound up, yeah, that's how it started, and it was just for fun. Same scenario. Like I didn't even know if anyone would, like, I didn't know how it would go. You know how these go with like bands forming these little mini groups, and I had no expectations of it other than I just wanted to write that stuff. And me and Greg banged out a bunch of songs, and it was pretty well received, and we decided to take it like a little more seriously, I guess. So we're actually going to like tour now, and we have plans to do stuff around everyone's schedule. So it's been it's good. It got all that out of my system. And now and where N sits and where Fit sits, they live in two different spaces, and I feel like both bands are better because I can do both projects.
Nice. What album is End on? What you got?
We have
EP?
one EP and a full length. Yeah.
Is that it?
So,
just an EP and a full length?
That's it. Pretty new.
Wait, there's another.
No, that's it. That's all it is.
Interesting. Very interesting. And Ends, you got some shows?
I do. We're on tour in March in the US and UK.
Are you going?
Yes. So I play the end shows because it's way more part-time. So when we schedule end stuff, it's all the guys that are in then are doing it. So it's limited, but I can do it and it's fun.
Does anyone in Fit for an Autopsy get jealous?
No, right. I think they're just stoked. I think all of it helps all of us, like, because it bridges these like little roads between all of our bands. Counterparts fans find Fit, and End fans find Counterparts, and then they find Fit. Like, so it's been this thing where, like, I think just being involved in multiple projects has just helped everybody.
Okay. Just a final thing on your two bands before we move on.
Sure.
Little thing that I like to do, which is imagine, you know, the lovely Marissa is not a thing, and you've got a new squeeze, right? And you're at their family house. It doesn't even, you know, it could just be that maybe you haven't met Marissa's parents. You're at their house, and there's it's Christmas dinner, and there's an older brother, right? And they go, what does your band sound like? Right.
Ugh.
So, yeah, see, I love watching people squirm.
It's the worst.
So,
I just always go to Metallica because they know.
Okay, so
always.
this is where we go from here, though, because my concept with this is, right, how many people we got watching? We've got 13,776 people watching. Now, that is like a Christmas dinner where there's 13,776 people there. So, what we've got is the mum of the Christmas dinner, one of those 13K, saying, what does your band sound like, right? And you've said Metallica. Then the older brother at the Christmas dinner goes, oh, what, like sort of And Justice for All Metallica? So then your ears prick up. You're like, okay, this guy might know what he's talking about. So where do you go from there? Because it doesn't sound like And Justice for All Metallica.
Yeah, then I'll go, do you mess with any death metal stuff?
He goes like Cannibal Corpse?
Yeah. So if I get something back like that, like, oh yeah, Cannibal, or like Suffo, if he says Suffo, like, and doesn't say suffocation, like, then I'm like, oh, we're in, and now I'll say it. Yeah, this band is kind of like, you ever, you know, it's like in tune, but it's like Power Violence is mixed with this and that. This one's like, we borrow from like early Morbid Angel, we do this and that. Then I'll just punish him with it. But if he's like, oh yeah, no, that stuff's like too crazy for me, then I'm like, oh no, it's cool. You probably wouldn't like our stuff, and I'm out.
Yeah, is it like this? So is it like the screaming stuff, and then you would just say, okay, you're not gonna like it, It's scary. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
a similar vibe there.
I think death metal is the bridger. That's like the, are we getting past like the superficial, I know the big four guy? Because if you could respond with anything death metal related, then you could maybe talk to him about extreme music.
Yeah.
But if it stops at Metallica, it's good to just like, you could feel that out with that question.
Would you class?
That's how I would do it.
Would you class Fit as death metal? If you were,
it's a little everything. It's
and
the
what you
it's
put
the
in-
kitchen sink.
What are you putting? Remember when MySpace had three genres?
Yeah, I guess we do death metal, metal, and then probably whatever the least offensive one is. We like to say
progressive.
Now
I would say you're progressive.
we call it post-deathcore. How's that sound?
Sounds fucking terrible, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not. I don't like it, but that's what we call it now.
But
No, we're just-
I mean,
it's
I love
just a
the
metal
concept.
band.
I love the concept of that.
Yeah,
That's
It's
why
a
I
me-
like
it's a
Fit.
metal
I'm a
band.
deathcore kid. I like a breakdown. I like a fast bit.
Yeah, us and Die Art were trying to coin that like a few years ago, and then we realized that was a terrible idea and stopped.
What,
doing it.
post deathcore?
Yeah.
I remember when Despised Icon had a T-shirt that said "Death Metalcore."
Nice.
I had that
That's
T-shirt.
good. I'm sure you did.
Yeah, fuck.
I
I
like
had
it.
that T-shirt.
Yeah, I think we came from that world, but I feel like now when I hear our band, it sounds so distant to what like that current scene is. That when people ask me, I'm like, I don't know, it's like an aggressive metal band. Not knocking any. There's actually a lot of new deathcore that's pretty cool right now.
I love it. It's all
Yeah.
great in the gym.
We just don't. I just don't think we sound like that genre.
No, that's why I asked. Like, it's fuck. You couldn't even say like extreme metal because that makes me think of like Carcass. It's just metal.
It's just
But
all
it's
the stuff we like. You can just
heavy.
listen to it. You listen to it and figure it out for yourself, man.
It's whatever you want it to be, bro.
I don't believe in like being in a box. You know, I'm an artist.
Don't try and pigeonhole me. Bucket list. That's what I wanted to say earlier. Bucket list.
Oh, there
band.
it is. That just popped in your head.
That's how my brain works.
Ooh, that's crazy.
Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to do some questions from the Patreon, patreon.com/the Downbeat, because some of them are good for once. Sometimes they're really, really bad. No offense, because these people give me money. So some of these are, you're going to have some, this is great sort of insight here. Look at his arms are up for the insight.
Ready. Fire away, Patreon people.
So, this is from Pete Barber. Not a barber, I imagine. Just a pretty name.
You don't know that. Don't assume his barber identity.
I can see his hair.
All right.
This guy's not a barber. I can't actually see his hair, but that was funny, wasn't it?
was
So, my band records and releases all our music independently. What's the best way for us to start taking our mix quality and overall production to the next level?
Well, if you do everything yourself, you get to control it all, but you're only as good as you are. So you have to be honest with yourself. Am I good enough where I'm going to put the hours in, learn, go through the trial and error, like really invest the time commitment that comes with producing and mixing and getting good at it, because you only get better by doing it, like most professions in this sort of creative world. So is that you? Or if it's not, find the person that you like, because if you're not going to do it and you really want your music production value to go up and not suffer, you have to admit to yourself, like, maybe somebody else is better suited for this. So you do it or you don't.
Let's assume. I'm going to do a little bit of assumption here. Let's assume. What's the best way to start taking our mix quality and overall production? Let's assume they think it's the fucking shit, right? Not saying it isn't. Let's assume they think it's the shit. But how do we take it to the next level? How would you get someone? I actually want to know this now. Well done, Pete Barber, who isn't a barber, who might be a barber. Is there a place where you could get someone like yourself or anyone? Does anything exist where you can, ask for advice from a pro?
Yeah, I think like there's a good wealth of recording and mixing classes, and generally people are pretty accessible aside from a handful of guys. Like I talk to kids all the time online and they ask me, "How do you do this? What'd you do for that?" And I don't mind answering the questions cuz 18-year-old me would have punished me today anyway with the same kind of question. So I do understand that stuff, but I think yeah, I mean, aside if if you think you got it and you're putting the work in and you feel like you hit a wall, the best thing you can do is learn from people whose work you admire. And then so seek them out, see if they need help with any projects, punish them, ask them questions, buy their stuff.
Punish me, Will was saying. Just punish me, baby.
There's no other that aside from doing it yourself, that's the fastest way to target what you're actually trying to do. That guy does a thing, I want to figure out how to do that. Talk to that guy,
Advanced evolution.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't sit down and teach me, but maybe he can point you to the thing he learned from, and that like you follow those breadcrumbs by communicating with the people whose work you're interested in.
I would also say not really your world, Will, but my world, as we're on it right now, a fucking great place to get advice from people, provided they're on the platform, from people that you like actually believe in, or people that you want their opinion, is Twitch. Because you can have you got your Twitch Prime sub, right? You don't even pay for that. Your mum and dad are paying for that, or whatever. Jeff Bezos is paying for that. Then what you do is you come into someone's chat. This happens to me all the time. You come into someone's chat and you subscribe, which didn't actually cost you any money. Then I got paid for that. And then you hit me with a, hey, can you check my band out? There's no way I'm saying no. Right? And people do this to Tom all the time, because Tom does like a New Music Friday. And provided the person that you do it to is pretty honest, you're going to get some good feedback that way. When people just going, like, you might think your mix is incredible, and then you drop into, let's say Tom from Stray's New Music Friday, hey man, can you check my band out? And then he puts it on and he's like, whoa, the guitar sounds terrible. So then like you can get, he might not say that, but you're gonna get that like industry like opinion without being super formal. That was a great question, Pete Barber. Pete Barber. Who might not be a barber. Right. Some of these I've already asked because I'm an absolute professional. There was one more really good one which I should have already had, so I could do it quicker, but I haven't. In order. Great. Oscar Baker. Is he a baker? We don't know. He could be a baker. There's no profile picture. So
all your subs are just trade professions asking questions. I love it.
Oscar Baker. Isn't a baker, might be a baker, might be a barber. In order.
If Pete Barber's a baker and Oscar Baker's a barber, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. Find out afterwards.
I will find out. In order, what band member tends to be the least annoying to most annoying to work with out of drummers, singers, bassists, guitarists?
Bassists are least annoying. Then it goes drummer.
Look how quick this is.
Guitarist, singers the most annoying all the time. Not all the time, that's but when someone's really annoying, it's usually the singer. And then drummer and guitar, interchangeable level of annoyance. Depends who's the main songwriter, depends who's the crazy one. It's always different. No bassist has ever punished me.
But you haven't recorded Dream Theater
for a reason.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they won't return my calls. No, but I'm sure it's different. It's different all the time. Singers are the worst, though. That's not different.
I mean, that's universal. That is a universal. Like I would say this, and the problem is, right? It's just something. No offense to any singers out there. But
isn't. Please don't take offense. You're all terrible in your own special way, but it's what makes you good.
Exactly. There is something in your mad little brains that makes you want to stand in front of everyone else, in front of loads of people, and make noises at them. Right? Whatever the switch is flicked in your head for that, unfortunately, makes you terrible to be around. without any exceptions, I would say every singer I know, and loads of them are my best mates. They've got that one thing.
I know there are some that are fine, that are normal. Some of them are normal.
100% normal.
No.
Nah, see, there's none.
No, I'm checking them off as I go. Yeah, they all have their own little thing.
There's none. And whatever that thing is, the switch, even though I'm a drummer, I've also got it. Hence the podcast. Right? A little showboating little pony man. Right?
Sure.
I've got it, and that's why I'm also mad.
But also the chaotic mental issues that happen there too.
Exactly.
As a result of it.
And it's to answer your question, Oscar Baker, he kind of answered your question there, didn't he? There was the order. And it was... Yeah. I would agree wholeheartedly. Although, depending on the type of band, I would perhaps put, if there is a guitarist that does the solos. Sometimes
No, because if I had to pick one, I would put drummers at number 2. Because it's harder to record drums than it is to record a guitar. The guitar is like one track. You can get away with a little more. It's easier to take shots at it. Drums is like... When it's a struggle, it's really a struggle to me. Like I feel like working with a drummer who's like got his own issue is harder than a guitarist generally because it's a harder thing to get done right. So the start to finish, that's a more punishing process. You're all the worst. I need a new profession.
I was pretty fucking bad on that last.
You were okay. So you do a thing where
here we go.
You are good enough to know that you are not good enough. Like there's the top teeny 0.001% drummer guy that like the guys we look up to are like, fuck, he's the best, he's awesome. And they've spent a lifetime of dedication and work or their God-given like ability to just be this world-class undisputed, this guy is just incredible at drums. You know what it is, what it takes, who those people are, and you write stuff that can be comparable to people on that level, but it's way more challenging because you're not in the tiniest of the best drummers in the world. So when you go to like perform, you're holding yourself to a standard that's like them, so everything sucks. Because it's like, this guy's so good and I'm not doing this. Like I've seen... You're aware of what it takes, even though you're not the guy, because I'm not, now I hate myself and this sucks. But it's also what makes you a good drummer. It's like you understand the instrument enough to know what it should be,
The imposter syndrome keeps me going. I had that issue with my fucking back when we were recording, where the strangest little thing, I've had to change completely change my bass drum technique.
The two kicks.
That's kicks. Right. Where I would go toe and then heel to do those. I would do a sliding motion, right? I now cannot do that. There's something that's happened. It's the only thing that's happened. I just can't do it. I physically can't do it. So now, I'm trying to learn heel toe, which is the one where you do the opposite of how I've played the drums for the last 20 years. And that's what this recording session has done to me, because I'm terrified of that happening at a show. So
yeah.
It's a bit boring drum geekery for the 1% of drummers watching.
The drums are great on the record. Now that we've got to hear it in all its glory, you did great.
Thank you.
Even with a broken back.
I am very stoked on it. The drum mix, Will, is absolutely crazy.
Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. I put a lot of work in for you. Only you.
Well, putting a lot of work in sounds like maybe I didn't do such a good job.
Even if you did a good job, it would still be a lot of work.
No, it was...
like how I said, even if you did No, you did. You did great, and if you played poorly, the drums wouldn't sound the way they do. There's just no way.
The toms sound incredible. What kit did we use? What kit did we use, Will?
We used the walnut one.
We did. We used a Tama walnut birch with a maple kick drum. Shout out to Sam Gample from Tama, who provided us with a maple Tama Star Classic kick drum, which is now ours.
I know. It's great. Well, I bought the toms because I heard them, and I was like,
paid
this
full
is what
price
I want.
like a mug.
Yeah. It's fine. That's how much I liked them. That I paid retail guitar store drum price to have them for the session because I wanted them.
We got Kyle Brownie in the chat saying he can't wait for our drum mix. You're just the king of mixing drums.
Mixing drums. Mixing theirs right now. As soon as we hang up. As soon as we hang up.
As soon as you hang up, you're going to do it? Mm-hmm. What are you going to start with? Drums? Just are you still doing the drum mix? How do you mix? What's your mixing? How do you
mix? So what is all this?
I don't want to get onto a fucking hour of talking about that, but in order, how do you do it?
I do a lot of it at once. The balance, people start soloing stuff, and then what I've learned, the way I like to work is I like to put it all together first and get a good balance of where my tracks are before I start touching anything or adding plugins or doing anything. I try to get just sounding good with what I have.
Yeah, but you've got to have a go. So you press play. What's the first thing you adjust?
Well, I just listen. I go, that's loud, that's quiet, that's loud, that's quiet. And I balance the thing where I'm like, this sounds as good as it's going to sound without touching anything but volume. That's where I start now. And then I'll go, what do I want? I want to hear what? The guitars need to sound like this.
Kick
drum needs to be that. Kick drum, drum, up, more sub, more. Yeah. So I think there's like, it's like, and that's where it starts. And then I'll like break into drums and bass and see if there's any problems or anything like that. But the little micro details. But a lot of that makes much less of a difference once you get the foundation of it just sitting good.
You're pretty fucking specific about raw sounds sounding great. Like the drum sound that we got on that last record, raw was fucking like
Your drums are very close to being 100% real on this record, which is wild.
If
like
anyone,
kick, little bit of sample here and there for like the occasional part where it just like is an effect, but it's like they're very, very real on this record.
I thought that when I was listening to it, I was like, that snare. That'd be, if anyone's watching, like, what do you mean? Every fucking album that you listen to that's good has samples. All of them. All of them have samples. All of them have edits. With the most part. Yeah, I did think that one, and I can't remember who I was talking to the other day. I was like, part of the problem with being able to hit a drum hard with recording with Will Putney is that he will not want to use any samples, so you will be busting your fucking balls.
Yeah, once I hear what 10 out of 10 is, then it's like, oh, you can't do 8 ever again.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And there was actually because we streamed a bunch of it on Twitch, and there was actually a lot of people in the chat who are fucking idiots, by the way, being like, I can't believe this is how you record. I can't believe this is how you record. And it's like, if realistically, look at the Black Album, the fucking best drum sound of all time. Section by section, so you can keep that fucking velocity at as high as humanly possible. We would all love to be able to play. I'm sure that someone like Eloy can come and sit and play a Stray song from start to finish.
You could sit down and play a Stray song.
I have to live
that intensity, right? But it would kill you. So it's like, yeah, sure, we could do 20 takes of a song or 10 takes or however many it takes like that, where you're literally killing yourself and you're laying on the ground after 20 minutes of drumming at that intensity. Or we could do like the verse and then get a sippy of water and then not die.
Glorious.
Yeah.
And then come to the show.
It's not like it's impossible. It's just like, well, that's just comfortable. And if we're going to like spend all these hours trying things and changing fills and stuff, it's like, it's kind of stupid to be like, yeah, no, do it all at once and play as hard as you can and kill yourself over this.
And also, as we've already established, we try and record with you in 10 days. So if we were doing full takes, look how annoyed he is. It's
the worst.
Okay. Right, so I got a new concept. I just got a text from Sam Gample right then. He's not watching, but my drum kit doesn't come in until mid-March, which is annoying because I'm on tour. Anyway,
send it to me. I'll use it.
It's literally going to get sent to you anyway because that's where my gear is.
All right.
You can use it. I'll let you use it.
Thanks for the drums, Sam. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate the drum kit.
There's actually a 14-inch rack tom in there, walnut, which you don't have. And they sound incredible.
There you go.
There we go. Anyway, so I've got a new little thing that I stole off a different podcast called Goth Menu, where they do a guest's dream restaurant, right? What I've sort of stolen the idea, I called it Goth Menu, and it is basically a dream festival, but not just the bands, and I don't want a whole lineup of bands. What we're going to do is a very specific sections of the festival that I'd like to talk about, and then we're done for the podcast. This is a new thing I'm going to end the podcast with, because I did used to do top 5 of shit, and I ran into issues where people had already been on the podcast, they couldn't do another top 5. And also, everyone in the world has a podcast called Top 5s. We've all seen fucking High Fidelity. Anyway, so, Goth Menu. The Goth Menu, I hope I don't get in trouble for this. The Goth Menu Festival of Will Putney. So what we're going to start with is, at a festival, what is your accommodation of choice?
My accommodation of choice.
Let me give you some examples, because let's assume it's up to you. Are you playing your dream festival, or are you simply spectating?
I'm spectating.
Excellent. So your choices are the usual: camping, RV, hotel. You got anything like fancy there?
Now I'm thinking I want to play. Yeah, I'm gonna open. En's gonna open the festival.
Fantastic.
Because I play with En live now, and we have fun. And we've opened a festival recently. It was a lot of fun. So I'll do that. And I want my accommodation to be the scammed green room that we were able to commandeer for the entire Furnace Fest festival that just happened in September.
How did you get that? What was it?
We played a stage, and there was I forgot, the furnace stage, and then there was a trailer that was supposed to be a green room, and it said the something green room, but it wasn't the stage. It was labeled wrong. Okay. And the bands kind of knew about it, but I don't know how we figured this out, but we wound up with a trailer for us, the 12 p.m. band that plays on the side stage for the entire festival for the weekend. And it was fantastic. Leave our bags there, bring some friends there. There were snacks. They would just restock it for us all weekend. And then there was the occasional band that would come in that found the trailer that was playing throughout the weekend. But we just had the center of the room the whole time. It was awesome.
What? It was just labeled end?
No, it wasn't labeled at all.
Oh, that you just found it, you just walked in?
Yeah, they didn't put a band list up or dressing room. We're oh, I think this is the green room. And then it turned into a green room. And then the next day we're what if we just go back there? There's nobody there, no one's. So we just had it again. It was awesome.
Was there refreshments and stuff?
Yeah, they kept restocking it. It was awesome. Like I said, there was a band or two that used it, but there was
no
a center area.
No one knew. No. It wasn't.
I don't know. Maybe they just didn't care. Furnace Fest was a blast, and they were very cool. But anyway, I want the trailer.
That's
I want
the accommodation.
Take it to, and the location, which we haven't decided. The trailer goes on the freight, and it goes to Australia. And we're playing. This festival takes place in Australia.
Love it. Okay. In
so
Australia.
My trailer. I'm in Australia. I'm getting warmed up, and it's going on first.
Love it. I love it. Okay, so the next thing in the Dream Festival, what is your dream refreshment to have throughout the festival? And you don't drink, so normally...
Yeah, I don't drink, so... I'm a Spindrift guy. Hello, Spindrift. My name's Will Putney, Grammy Award-winning record producer, engineer, Graphic Nature Audio, and I've
never seen him reference the Grammy himself, which means he's serious Spindrift. There's also 15,183 people watching this. So,
and if any of you work for the lovely people at Spindrift, I have an ear Oscar, and I will market your beverage. Send me a pallet. Yeah, but I'm a big Spindrift guy, so I'll probably just have a little case of these that somebody will just walk around with, and when I'm thirsty, they'll hand me one.
A little case? It's a Dream Festival. You can have a massive case. You can have a custom fridge.
I'm going to have someone is going to be there that's going to... If this is a Dream Festival, I'm not walking around with anything. So the guy next to me is going to carry the Spindrifts, and if he runs out, he's going to go get more.
The Spindrift guy. Yeah. Okay. What flavor Spindrift? Or you got a multiple selection?
Multiple selection. Currently enjoying pineapple.
Oh, who wouldn't enjoy
It's
pineapple?
very good. So yeah, we're in Australia. It's gonna be hot. I'll call it pineapple spindrift.
Okay, so to be still in festival mode, this is the second time I've ever done this. It will be smoother by the time I've done this a few times.
It's going good. You're doing all right.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Yeah. This podcasting might work.
So, okay, so your ideal, your ideal little gem find that you would find at festivals. So by this, I mean sort of a band that you've found recently that are quite small, that you'd like to have discovered at a festival, maybe like a little gem,
a little tiny one, a gem.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with two. Okay, I think this band is little. I'm not sure because they're new to me. I did recently discover them, but they're called LLNN. Have you heard this?
Yeah.
Copenhagen band. They kind of remind me of like End, if it was like in space.
Spacey End.
I love it.
Band's absolutely great. What does the name mean? Because I've
I don't know. I should ask them too. I think I've started chatting with those guys, so I'm gonna start bothering them a little more.
Ooh, yeah, that's a great choice for that. I'll take that.
Yeah, that's that little nugget where you leave and you go home. You're like, I'm glad I found that. And then 5 years later, you're like, oh, it's one of my favorite bands now.
Do you know what my nugget of that was? You will love this.
What do you got?
First on the small stage, Download 2005, a band I'd never even heard of before on the... I can't remember what tour it was. It might have even been for the Link, Gojira.
Oh, wow.
And I walked into the tent and they played. I was like, this band's pretty cool. Oh no, it must have been Master Sirius. And they played Backbone, and then they played Remembrance, and the breakdown from Remembrance. I'd never heard it before, and it was I just literally just walked in. I was like, this is the best band I've ever heard in my life.
We had a very similar experience because I did that at a Lamb of God show. They were the opening band, and I didn't even know. I had never heard them, and I walked in while they were playing, and it would have been Mars era stuff that they were playing too. And I was like, what am I listening? Maybe it was Heaviest Matter or something. I was like, what is this? Somebody's like, oh, is that band Gojira? And I'm like, why is this the best band? And they were the best band all day too. I think I just left the show halfway through too because I was like, I'm good. That was whatever that was. That's now what I like. Yeah.
I got to share that experience with Randy, who had not heard Gojira before.
Oh, nice.
When he came on a Stray tour for a couple of days and we played San Fran, and next door was Gojira and Tesseract, and I was like, man, you got to come see this band. And then he was just, you know what Randy's like, he was just really stoned, just like... and I think we walked into Remembrance as well. That's the bit when you hear that, you're like, wait.
Everybody walks into Remembrance, yeah. I think Paxson, Nakus might have had a similar one too, because I know he saw them for the first time and walked in on like a old song. I remember him telling me. I feel like that's the move. You walk in on Remembrance, and then you're just sold. Maybe they just play it in like, I haven't seen them in a few years. Maybe they just play it like in every 60 seconds. They just do 4 bars of it in case somebody walks in.
They just play the end of it now.
I know, they just give you the breakdown with the strobes and just
the bit that we want.
Just give me what I want.
Yeah, it's the bit that we want. Okay, so then I want your headliners. I want your big band, but I also want the band on before the big band. So, you know, I want your headliners on one day.
Okay.
Hit me.
I'm thinking.
Oh, you've got to decide actually the size of the festival. Is this a download-sized festival?
It's a big fest. It's a big fest. I'm in a trailer. The trailer moves. I'm just driving through crowds with with my own green room. Floating above them. I got Spindrift Guy. Yeah. All right. I would like. Okay. There's 2 bands that I would want to see in certain eras headlining, and I would like the openers to be more of like a slow roll into the day because I don't want to get punished all day at a festival. That's the thing. I don't want to hear 10 extreme bands in a row. I want like nice music. Okay. And I want instrumental music. I just want to hang out, talk with my friends who are in my green room with my Spindrift Guy, and maybe I'm friends with the Spindrift Guy. Shout out to Spindrift.
Maybe you actually got maybe you got a budget to hire your Spindrift Guy, so they provided the drinks.
Yeah, he's like a buddy that I pay, and he's totally cool that he's getting way overpaid.
It's Steve. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I'm paying Steve like 10 grand a day to be the Spindrift guy.
To be the Spindrift guy.
He's
and
stoked. He's drinking them.
it.
I'm like, dude, you can have one too. It's totally cool. I know they told you couldn't, but like, dude, just crack one. I'm not going to tell him. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. I'll take a couple instrumental bands that I like. Warm me up. Let's go. This Will Destroy You.
Yeah, baby.
Let's go Russian Circles. And then let me get, not instrumental. Now let's get some vocals going. We'll get Neurosis in there. Playing 90s era stuff.
Okay. Whoa. 90s era stuff, but then do they have the Projectionist man back? So
Projectionist, I don't care. I like Projectionist, man.
I don't care.
I know it's cool, but I don't smoke weed. Yeah, I'll take the projectors. We got a big show. Give me all the production. I'll take.
Yeah, do Neurosis that favor.
Give me ISIS doing Oceanic front to back just for fun. Snares off in a festival setting. I want to hear that. Yep.
Fuck yeah. Wait, slow the fuck down for a minute. I saw Neurosis. I think I saw the last show Neurosis did. If anyone didn't know, they used to have a projectionist, like film fucking projectionist guy that was a member of the band, and he would project shit. And I saw them at Hellfest, the French Hellfest, not the fucking early 2000s Hellfest. And I saw him in the rain, and it was Neurosis. And then Emperor closed the stage. It was fucking awesome.
Spooky.
Okay, you're at Neurosis, but who's your... Now you got two big ones.
And then I want... And me and you are going to differ here, but that's okay because it's my show, so I don't care. So headlining this Australian Paradise Festival, it will be Metallica doing Injustice for All front to back.
Why are we going to differ? Why is that?
Because you're so Black Album.
No. I'm at the moment I'm Black Album. I'm actually, I used to hate, but the reason I'm so Black Album is because I hated the Black Album until I was about 30.
All right, so we're doing Injustice for All front to back with the Saint Anger snare tone blasting through the PA. Just give it to me. I want it all. I want to experience it live in that setting. Bass up, Saint Anger snare tone. And Justice for All.
Why would you bother turning the bass up with?
It all happens. It's like Metallica went, all right, we get it. We're giving you the bass, but fuck you. We're keeping the Saint Anger snare, and that it's just a high entertainment value here. This is what I'm going for.
So this is a guy that lives in music and works in music. He wants his dream festival to be a comedy experience.
Entertainment experience.
Okay,
it's an entertainment experience.
Okay.
And then I just take a 9 Inch Nails set because they're my favorite live band.
What a fucking fest, Will.
Yeah, that's it. And there's like, what was that, 7 bands? My band, 4 openers, Metallica, 9 Inch Nails. And they rotate. They play a song each. It's like a big dick concert, like contest between the two of them.
They rotate?
Yeah, they play one song each.
Imagine going from it. Trent would be so annoyed.
Oh, both bands would be so annoyed, but I don't care. You play one song each, and then you have to be quiet while the other band plays. That's what I want.
I mean, it's your dream festival. You get whatever you want.
Then, curtain drops. Stage lights. Everyone thinks it's over.
I love how into this you are.
Lights go off. Fire. The curtain. Fire drops, and it's Rammstein. And they play Du Hast, and then we all go home.
This is all on one day. What, they have their full production for one song?
Yes.
You're not going to take Deutschland as well?
Yep. We'll do Deutschland too.
Come on. Yeah,
we'll do
open with Deutschland. It's got a nice intro.
Yeah. That's the song that converted Tom. So
I remember I was there. That was Internal Atomics.
Tom will be there. Like all the friends are there, so we could enjoy that song with Tom.
I can't wait for your festival, Will.
That's it. And that's like I don't know. Like a 7-8 hour day. And
what do you do after? That's what I've got. I'm written down in my very professional Goth Menu notes. This is definitely going to stay. I'm stealing this concept. I might even change the fucking name so people don't realize that it's not my idea. What are you doing after the show?
You got to eat. You eat after the show. That's the ritual, you know?
What are you eating then? Dream Festival. Dream food.
We're in Australia too, so I don't know. There's that. Dream food. We're close to Japan, so
this is the shit. This is the shit. You could fly to Japan for the food if you want post show.
I text the guy. We text the order about 8 hours before, and they put the ingredients on a plane, and then a bunch of ramen chefs come over from Japan, and they set up, and you walk. We drive our little RV green room out of the festival.
Spindrift, drinking.
They come on, and they cook us ramen, and that's it. We have ramen. That's it. That's all I want to do after a show. I just want to eat, and then I'm done. I want to go to bed. The whole show experience should just be, that's the release, and now I'm put pasta in my body, and then let me go to sleep.
Wait, does ramen count as pasta?
Noodles. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Do you know what's crazy? And we'll end on this little tip. You guys call what we would just call spaghetti noodles.
I don't call it that. I call it spaghetti.
Some people in America call it spaghetti noodles.
Italians call pasta
noodles.
Call sauce gravy.
Gravy and noodles.
That's the thing.
Spaghetti bolognese, which I'm going to make tonight, actually.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Beyond. Will I make a beyond spaghetti bolognese? I'd love to make it for you one day. I know you're a vegan. It's the best. It's the best thing I can make.
Let's do that. That's what we're doing after the show. You get a little chef outfit on.
You don't know it's good. You're just taking my word for it. I appreciate it.
No, but it'll be the joy of, like, you're cooking for me. I'd appreciate that more than random Japanese guy flew in to make me ramen. This is Craig from the Downbeat, the Heavy Music Award-winning podcast.
No,
and he's
making
Oscar
me, yet.
He's making me bolognese.
Okay, to sum up, let's go through your festival and then we're done. We are in Australia. The accommodation is an RV right next to the stage where it's filled with spindrift, which are being provided by Steve Side, who is being paid $10,000 for the experience, and he is allowed to drink the spindrifts. End is opening. Then we have This Will Destroy You, Russians. Oh, we have LLNN. This Will Destroy You, Russian Circles, Neurosis with Projectionist. Although Will wasn't bothered, but I'm well up for it.
You can put it in.
We got him in. Then what do we have after that? We should probably have someone writing this down.
We got Isis doing Oceanic.
Isis doing Oceanic in full with the snares off. Unsatisfied with the snares being off just for that, we then have Metallica playing And Justice for All with the St. Angus snare drum sound.
Bass up.
Bass turned up. Then a curtain comes down. No, then Nine Inch Nails play a full set. Sorry, Nine Inch Nails and Metallica are flip-flopping. Yep. 2 stages on the same stage.
2 stages right next to each other,
lovely.
So you have to watch them wait for the other band to finish.
Love it. Watching James wait for Trent and vice versa. Love it. Then curtain comes down. Rammstein play Deutschland, Du hast with their full production, which costs $500,000, but they play 2 songs. They leave, and then I make a spaghetti bolognese.
That's it. That's great.
That's a fucking great day.
The crowd is dogs.
The entire crowd is dogs.
My list, like my guest list, and then it's just dogs. No one else. It's Metallica and Rammstein, like you said, in a crazy accent, Nine Inch Nails and all these bands, and they're just playing the dogs. And then it's just us. And if you like, the dogs are all friendly, and that's it. That's what I want. This sounds like a fever dream I had when I had COVID.
That's the dream festival of Will Putney. And that's going to bring us to the end of the podcast, Will.
Yeah. Just think about dogs.
I mean, I often do.
In the silence of, like, thank you, and then it's just dog sound. It's all I want.
Crazy.
I want a festival with dogs.
And sincerity of the band, like James Hetfield going, thank you, baby, and it's just dogs.
Just dogs. All right, that's going to live with me for a while. That was fun. Thanks, Craig.
I'm so glad that you had an excellent time. I need to figure out what order to turn everything off. I'm going to stay on stream for the next 16 minutes because I'm still on the front page. I'm going to milk this little cash cow. We'll get some subs in, maybe. Anyone want to give me some money? I'll put this on all the normal platforms. Go and check out Fit for an Autopsy on tour. Go check out End. Go check out the new Fit for Autopsy album, Oh What the Future Holds. Particularly check out the tracks Two Towers and the track after it, Something About Hate.
A Higher Level of Hate. Yep, you got it.
I know the song, I just don't know the name. And that's it. I'm going to end in this order. The stream's staying around. I'm going to say goodbye to you, Will. I'm going to stop Pro Tools and I'm going to be back to the stream. Okay?
All right.
I love you, buddy.
Thanks,
Have
Greg.
a lovely day.
Take care, man.
Bye.